Welcome to another beautiful day right here. It is, of course, Saturday, and I'm excited to bring you to speak with everything happening around the world, in Nigeria and every part of the world, as a matter of fact. Even if it is not everything, at least we will get to talk about some very few things from the headlines this morning, and of course other topical issues will also be touched. This is to keep you abreast of how the week ran and what the weekend holds. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and I'm so excited to come on your way this morning. How was your sleep? How did you rest? I know a lot of people rested, more so that it is a rainy day in the FCT and its environs. How is it? Is it still raining where you are? I know you will be wondering, how was he able to get to the studio despite the heavy rain, the heavy downpour, all through the night across this morning? But then, we need to do everything possible to make sure you get the best, because you deserve it. And that's how much we value you at Global Television. Well, I think today, a lot of people look at today as a day of Owambe. When I say Owambe, the Yoruba people from the western part of Nigeria and every other person who know what Owambe is already calculating, yes, so they're already shouting, yes, so today is Owambe. Yeah, who is getting married today? Who is wedding today? Whose traditional marriage is today in the north, in the south, in the west, in the east, from all over the world, wherever you're watching us from this morning, whose wedding is today. Well, I just want to say happy married life to as many that are getting married today, and I want to say congratulations to every other person celebrating their birthday today. Today is a very unique day, and I'll tell you why. Today is a unique day because, number one, it is a blessing to see every new day, because a lot of people tried, strived, spent money, did everything, prayed, but for one reason or the other they couldn't see it. So every day is a special day. Don't take any day for granted, as a matter of fact. But then what about the people traveling right now? And this is what I tell people all the time, both on air and off air, when I'm live on television, anywhere I am, wherever I find myself, I tell people, you need to be very, very careful with everyone around you. This is the reason why. You know, a lot of people come around you for different reasons, especially when you're traveling and you just see someone walk to you and say, hey, you look beautiful, you look handsome, you look calm. Can we chat? Can we exchange numbers? Can we get talking? Or you get somewhere and you maybe as you're traveling along the road, the person just collect your phone and said, can I make a call? You know, you need to be careful who make calls with your phone, especially. You know why? Because some persons are so wicked, and they use your number. They can use your number to make calls that are incriminating without you even knowing. You just travel to where you're going to, or you stay in the comfort of your home and just hear a knock at the door. Someone is coming in. What's the problem? Oh, your attention is needed at the force headquarters. Okay, at the police station very close by. Well, for a particular reason, your number was detected. Your number was among the number that called this person that was robbed, this person that was kidnapped, this person that, you know, so many things. So we need to be careful. When someone say, please give me your phone, can I make a call with your phone? Do you have a time? Especially people you don't know. Maybe you're traveling or you get somewhere and someone walk to you and say, please, I'm stranded. I don't know what to do. I run out of credit. I'm a stranger here. I'm a visitor. Well, what do? I want to put a call across to my brother, my sister, whoever. And they said, okay, do you have the number offhand? They said, yes, I have it in my phone, or I have it offhand. And they use your phone to make that call, not knowing that these are people, all right, that are already criminals. These are people that have committed one crime that they are looking for. By the time they trace it to your number, it's going to take a long time for you to get out of it, even though you are innocent. So we just need to apply caution every day, every time. And let me also speak to those of you who are always moving from one location to the other. This is more like a security tip. Please, when you're traveling, maybe even within town, if you're shuttling, I just feel like saying all of this morning, because we need to stay informed. We need to stay at alert all the time because of the one chance people, because of kidnappers. We need to be very careful. If you're traveling and you feel something like maybe an egg, thrown from somewhere, broke on your glass, don't use your wiper to clean it, to wipe it, because it's going to cover all your screen and you will not have any option than to stop for those people to operate. So it is a trick. Before now, they can put a baby by the roadside, or maybe someone, a little child, crying as if the child is lost. And if you are the compassionate type and you stop to pick the baby to ask questions, before you know, they lynch on you. They come out from wherever they are hiding to take on you. These are kidnappers. And when you want to enter a car and someone is dropping, to make sure you get to the middle, especially when there are maybe two persons at the back, one lady in front, irrespective of the age, you need to be very cautious. All right, you don't have to enter that car. It could be one chance. It's not all that are one chance, but it could be one chance. But for you to be security conscious, these are the things you need to know as you are moving from one location to the other to attend that birthday party today, to attend that wedding. You need to have these security tips at your fingertips, right? Because I know you know how it feels when you are excited, when you are well dressed, you're looking gorgeous with your gele, with your cap, with your agbada, looking fine, and you're not mobile, or probably you want to do a public transport and you see someone, a car stop by, very clean, very neat, and someone is coming down for you to get to the middle. You need to be very careful with such people. And any car, all right, that you can't open the door from inside, you discover that, oh, this car, you can't open it from inside, someone will have to open for you from outside before you enter. You also need to be careful entering such cars. All right, these are just the few tips that I feel like dropping this morning, because I feel a lot of people will be moving from one place to the other. Saturdays are known for events, and these people are tireless, they are fearless, and of course, I don't know, I don't want to use the word, well, let me just don't use that word, but the truth is that they are wicked, and of course, they don't have pity on anyone. By the time you're caught, we've heard cases of people being thrown out of cars and all of that. So, as you move around for parties, for your events today, you just need to be very careful the kind of vehicles you enter. Moving away from there, I think before we look at the newspapers to see what the newspapers are saying, it is necessary, all right, for us to also know that the Apo Mechanic Village, all right, is about to be relocated, to Wasa District. I was just thinking, I was just considering the distance and all of that. I think the FCT minister is having plans. The minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has set plans in motion to relocate mechanics, artisans, and of course traders from the popular Apo Mechanic Village to Wasa District. All right. As a matter of fact, he spoke about it yesterday at a community meeting with traders and artisans at the Market Square in Abuja. That was yesterday. The minister also thanked the marketers for their cooperation and further urged them to work together for the growth and development of the Federal Capital Territory. I know a lot of things will be done in FCT for these years that Mr. Project is going to be on. If I say Mr. Project, you already know who I'm talking about, the FCT minister, of course. So, if you have a business around that axis, if you're an artisan there, if you're a mechanic and you have customers there, wherever you are, this should be at the bottom of your heart right now that the mechanic village will be relocated to Wasa district. If you don't know Wasa district, all right, and that's going to be a permanent site. Where they are right now is a temporary site. They are going to be relocated to a permanent site. Some persons have been talking about it for a while, but I didn't know, I never knew it was going to be this soon. But then yesterday, at the market square, at the community market square meeting, the Minister of FCT voiced it again, and of course he has appreciated the artisans, the mechanic, the market people for their cooperation. That's that. Maybe we're just waiting for what that place will be turned into, because that's a strategic place, the road, the major road passing through that place, then the link roads and all of that. But then let's see what will happen there, relocating those mechanics from there who have been there for years to Wasa district. Meaning, if you want to put your car in place, you need to travel. Did I say travel? You need to go all the way to Wasa district to do all of that. Well, the Minister of FCT is seriously working, and of course the commissioning project is still on. Even up to yesterday, there was a commissioning that happened. It's been happening, and it's going to happen from now until July. Wow, every day. I don't know if weekends are left out of it, but then every working day he's been up and doing. I think that's kudos. But then the other area that Nigerians, I saw on social media today when Omole Sowore wrote something, and he was saying something about teachers in FCT, all right, being on strike or not being paid or something for a couple of months now. Then the primary health care too have been on strike, and he posted some pictures of where students were left stranded, where they were studying was not palatable. And he said something like, the FCT minister, though he's doing well with infrastructure, but then it is good, according to Omole Sowore, that it will be good for the FCT minister to also touch this very vital area that affects the people directly. Because the infrastructures are good, the projects are good, but then this has to do with the future of our leaders, the leaders of tomorrow and all of that. And I saw that and I was like, yeah, I think even though a lot of people look at Sowore, I spoke with the National Secretary of the African Action Congress yesterday, the president of Inao Kopiago, who spoke extensively why the AAC do their things the way they do it, and why Omole Sowore does his things the way he do them. And for me to see that post this morning, it reminded me of some of the discussions yesterday. What we need to do is we should try as much as possible, especially people in governance, to actually touch the people directly, especially when it comes to essential projects like schools, health. These are these are essential projects, essential, not just social amenity alone, but they are essential. These are essential amenities that people need to enjoy as part of the dividends of democracy. Well, that's spoken. Let's quickly go on break. After this break, we'll return and we'll look at the pages of the national dailies. What are the newspapers saying this beautiful rainy Saturday morning? I'll return with the headlines after this break. Back from that break, well, let's quickly look at the national dailies and see what the newspapers are saying this morning. Of course, it is a Saturday, and these are the papers that we'll be looking at today on this 21st day of June 2025. A Saturday Punch is where we are starting from this morning. On the Saturday Punch, just by the side of the masthead, Atiku El-Rufai seek INEC approval for new party. Atiku El-Rufai seek INEC approval for new party. You could remember the coalition, the people fronting the coalition so far is Atiku. We also have El-Rufai and a few other persons. Some persons have exonerated themselves from the coalition, like the African Action Congress. The National Secretary said something on one of our programs yesterday, the desk to be specific, and he said, well, they cannot be part of such coalition, but then they are also open to coalition. The kind of coalition they want is that one that will take into cognizance the common Nigerian, the average Nigerians first. All right. Approval for new party from Atiku and El-Rufai. Now, a scandal, that's the kicker. Convicted inmates caught processing passport, visa in Lagos. Convicted inmates caught processing passport and visa right there in Lagos. One rider to that story, how warder drove convicted robber to passport office. The big story now, Israel-Iran war. Stranded Nigerians cry for help from underground shelters. Stranded Nigerians cry for help from underground shelters. Let's look at the riders and see what is happening. I saw someone wrote about an earthquake in Iran, but then could that be part of the reason? Despite the war in Iran, then earthquake happening. I'm not sure of that story yet. But the writers to this story, the first writer says, we can't sleep at night because of flying missiles. Where's the missile coming from? Israel, probably. Then the second writer says, federal government awaits border clearance to evacuate over 1,000 citizens. Federal government awaits border clearance to evacuate over 1,000 citizens. Then more headlines. Ebonyi community baited me with faces, stripped me naked over fake allegation. Farmer is the one crying out here. Details read on page 2. I think the authorities need to look into this because most times you see how people who are suspected of certain allegations, especially in communities, are being lynched, are being beaten, are being battered, are being embarrassed without investigations. That's taking law. That's more like a jungle justice. All right. So I think the authorities should investigate this to avert further occurrence. Nigerians no longer value meaningful songs. Nigerians no longer value meaningful songs. This is coming from African China. It's been a while. African China, it's been a while. Details read on page 16. African China is the one saying that. Epidemic fear as decomposing bodies litter Benue community. My God. Epidemic fears as decomposing bodies litter Benue community. The people out of the over 100 people, as it's been recorded, that lost their lives in the Benue State crisis. It's obvious that bodies will be littered around the place, and what do you think will be the aftermath of that? Well, epidemic, probably, if no action is taken. But then, how long would it take for the people to clean up the NEMA, environmental management, and of course the authorities of Benue State government, they should clean up the place, because at least there might still be some people in that community. All right, that's that on the Saturday Punch. From the Saturday Punch, let's get to the next paper. From the Saturday Punch, we'll move to the next paper. Which is the next paper right now? Let's quickly look at the Saturday Telegraph. On the Saturday Telegraph this morning, we have some very major headlines right here. And this one says, Senator Ume to go on. That's the kicker. You betray Aburi Accords, lit fire of war. Senator Ume to go on. You betrayed Aburi Accord, lit fire of war. Just one writer to that story called on ex-head of state to apologize to Ndigo over Biafran war. Details read on page 2. Benue killings, that's the kicker. No plan for state of emergency for now. Presidency source. Insist call politically motivated. All right, this is coming from Benue State, and the presidency is reacting to the fact that some persons are saying, well, I think it's necessary for state of emergency to be declared in Benue State, looking at the situation on ground, the killings from one community to the other, from one local government to the other. State of emergency should be declared in Benue State according to proposal coming from some persons, but the presidency is saying they don't have any plan to declare state of emergency in Benue State. This one says Nigeria can earn over $60 billion in carbon credits annually. Ex-CBN deputy governor is the one saying that. Fake degrees, that's the kicker. Federal government clears certificates from Togo. Federal government clears certificates from Togo. You remember there was a time, all right, the rider says reps probe Benin Republic's documents. If you could remember, let me take you back memory lane a little bit, even though some persons may have forgotten. There was a time that certificates from some African countries, especially Benin Republic, Togo, and some places, was being looked at as a certificate that's not really worth it, because you can see, according to what we heard then, that some persons got their degrees in just 6 months. What people get for 4-5 years, you know, somebody is getting it for 6 months, whether or not there is a strike. How was that done? Some persons were accused of coming into Nigeria with fake certificates and all of that, but there is a clearance being done by the federal government for certificates gotten from Togo. And now the big story on the Saturday Telegraph, and the big story says 2027, that's the kicker. Plot to oust Tinubu thickens. And the writer says, as Atiku, Mark, Obi, El-Rufai, Amaechi, others float party applied to INEC for registration. These are big guns. Atiku, Mark, which of the Mark? Is it David Mark? We would like to know. Obi, El-Rufai, Amaechi, others float party applied to INEC for registration. If you want to get the detail of that story, just pick a copy of the Saturday Telegraph and go straight to page 2. This one says a Middle East conflict. Nigerians stranded in Iran cry for help. The writer says accuse embassy officials of abandonment. Direct all inquiries to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Dabiri Arewa is the one saying that's the chairman of NIDCOM, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. That's the chairman, Arewa, Dabiri Arewa, beg your pardon. Then this one says I invested in my children instead of building houses. Oga Bello is the one saying that. Instead of building houses, I invested in my children. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. Because a lot of people are so flamboyant, they go building houses, buying exotic cars. But then when you invest in your children as they are growing, you become richer. That's what it means, all right? Because if they are doing well, you won't have to lack anything. You build those houses. They will even come up to build more current and recent houses, trending houses, reigning houses, not houses that are out of date. You know, there was a picture that was flying on social media the other time, you know, that cars were displayed. You see limousine, you see 406 or 404. You know, those reigning cars, Peugeot, all those cars, great cars. Those days, I saw them parked in their numbers, dusty, broken, battered and shattered, and I was like, hey, come on. This is a car that ran very well. At that time, if you don't have it, people look at you as a poor person. If you want to show affluence, you get those cars. But look at them now. No one is even looking at it. Dusty, you know, the tires deflated, even the car park where the cars are, very dirty, everything. So that's what it is. When you invest in your children, they will help you get the latest car. I think that's wisdom right there. Moving away from there, I'm just saying this because of people who amass wealth for themselves, you know, build houses everywhere, and they are not living in anyone. If you walk through FCT today, you can find some estates that is not inhabited by anyone, whereas there are people in FCT that are homeless. You know, you look at all these things and sometimes you begin to think, how did we get here? No human sympathy anymore. You just amass wealth for you, just yourself, and you don't care about any other person. It is not the right thing to do. All right. Let's quickly look at this one now. The Vanguard is where we are right now. On the Vanguard newspaper, I have this headline, 2027, that's the kicker, beg your pardon, anti-Tinubu coalition writes INEC, seek registration of new political party, ADA. That's the name of the new political party, ADA. Ada for people, the Igbo people and some people in Nigeria, Ada means first daughter. Right, ADA. But then if you want to know more about that, just pick a copy of the Saturday Vanguard and go to page 7. All right, this one says, what I will tell Tinubu if I meet him. This is coming from Bishop Mike Okonkwo at 80. Home affairs, the boy we forgot, battle of the decades, life of triumph and tragedy. This one says, Governor Alia, that's the kicker. Did you prepare for a condolence visit or banquet? That's a question you can find on page 27 of the Saturday Vanguard. The Benue killing is still on most of the papers. This one says, Yelwata massacre. What Benue people expected from President Tinubu? Okay, just a lot of riders. Saturday Vanguard visits the IDP camps, the living graveyards, captured their horror stories. And there are some riders. They said in one house, 45 people were burnt to death. In another, 28 were charred beyond recognition. Then another rider says, please tell Abuja we want to go home. A little girl sends a message to the federal government. If you're not careful, you begin to shed tears. Another rider here says a woman gives birth to twins in pit latrine. That's those people that are being displaced in Benue State. Yelwata massacre. I've lost so many people that I can't remember what to call myself. That's another rider. Then this rider says, they herders' families into their homes, set fire on them. Another rider says, Benue displaced people, now 900,000. In many villages, nothing remains but silence. That's in Benue. These are some of the research done by the media. That is Saturday Vanguard. And that's the big story on the Saturday Vanguard. That's to tell you of how it feels. You can see it on the screen. What Benue people expected from President Bola Tinubu. Well, he has visited and he has returned. But then, what is going to happen? Can we now say the people of Benue State can go to bed with their two eyes closed, or the fear is still there? What has been put in place? The order has been dished out, but we can see this. I'm just seeing that about 900,000 Benue people are displaced, and of course so many other situations there. A little child, a little girl, telling them, if you go, tell Abuja that we want to go back home. These are people displaced. They don't go to school anymore. They don't go to school anymore. The children don't go to school anymore. Parents don't go to farm anymore. So there will be more hunger in Benue State. Remember, Benue State is known as the food basket of the nation. But right now, I don't know what they are because of this massacre, because of this conflict, because of the killings. I think it is high time we rise to the occasion to do the needful, because the people in Benue State are now crying out. 900,000 people at the IDP camp displaced. We have 21 IDP camps in Benue State. But then, has one person been traced to the killings in Yelwata and other parts of Benue State? I've not heard. I don't know if you heard that one person was arrested or in connection, suspects. There have not been any suspects. People came in with motorbike. They rode into the village, did what they did, and rode out of the village. Nobody stopped them at the checkpoint to ask questions. Nobody ran after them. Nobody is tracing the footpaths. I don't know, investigations might be going on, but we've not heard anything. There is a cry from Benue State today on the Saturday Vanguard, where Benue people are expecting so much from the presidency. Now moving to another story on the Saturday Vanguard. Why some Borno top politicians want Shettima replaced as vice president. Page 12 is where you get that story. Tinubu will pick running mate after APC convention. That's presidency. Details you can find on page 5. Civil war. Gowon should apologize to Ndibo for dumping Aburi Accord. Senator Ume is the one saying that. Is appearing again on page 6. All right, let's move away from there and look at another paper right here this morning, which is The Nation, Saturday, The Nation Saturday. Benue is on almost all the papers this morning. This is The Nation's newspaper right now. Benue is the kicker. How we survived attack that claimed 200 lives. Residents are the one crying out. Let's quickly look at the riders. Police confirmed 2 bandits neutralized in Yelwata attack. 1 arrested. This is good news, all right? Police confirmed 2 bandits neutralized in Yelwata attack. 1 arrested. All right, I think I'm beginning to hear of arrest now. How to end killings by headsmen. Fulani leaders are the ones saying that. How to end killings by headsmen. Fulani leaders are coming out to say how the killings by headsmen can be stopped. Again, another rider says gunmen kill 13 persons, injure scores in Plateau State. All right, moving away from there, 2027, that's the kicker. Atiku, El-Rufai, Amechi move to register ADA. And of course, water resources and environment, 21 projects. That's still another one on the Nation's newspaper this morning. And of course, that is Zulum's 6th year in office. 1,339 projects. Okay, that's the governor there showcasing what he has done. You can see it from the picture story right there. Moving away from there, let's quickly look at the Guardian newspaper and see what we have on the Guardian newspaper this morning. Dehumanizing optics of moving passengers on cargo truck. How to enthrone merit-driven public service by Goke Adegoroye. Now to the big story. Health risk, that's the kicker. People shun blood donation as shortfalls persist. People shun blood donations as shortfall persist. Right. Voters' education, civil competence, and participatory democracy in Nigeria. That's more like an editorial. You can just go through that on the Guardian newspaper. This one says we must learn to live together or perish together. Shetima is the one saying that. 4 killed as Oshun communities renew hostility over banditry. Okay. This one says security operatives arrest 389 suspects in Kaduna with weapons, drugs, and others. I think when these people have been arrested, they should be publicly shown to the people. The people of Kaduna State should really know who these people are, and investigations be done so that we can know where they are coming from. What have they done in the past? Do they have sponsors? Who are their sponsors? And all of that. These are intelligent investigations that should be done by the authorities. Now to the Saturday Tribune. On the Saturday Tribune, we are growing Oyo's economy repositioning state for investment. That is marking this saying they are growing the economy of Oyo State. All right, how my struggle with fibroid surgery shaped my life. All right, now to the big story. Oh my God, all the papers this morning is about Benue. Look at it right there. You can see Benue killings. You can see it right there. That's the kicker. Nobody came to claim the charred bodies. Youths bury victims as cattle breeders. Thief groups clash over attacks. You can see that on page 3. Again, terrorists kill 16, burn over 20 houses in Plateau. This one says Tinubu praises Wike, says reconstruction of Abuja Road is product of good leadership. 84 arrested over robbery attacks in Agege, that's Lagos State. Atiku's coalition settles for ADA, 6 INEC registration. All right, party registration. Then we will quickly look at the Weekend Trust. On the Weekend Trust, which is going to be the last today before we bring Global Morning to a close this day. This one says, will IGP find Benue attackers? Details read on page 25. Opposition coalition, 6 INEC registration for new party. Mokwa flood, that's the kicker. Unearthing the root cause. Page 9 is where you find that story. Inside Nigeria's political dynasties. That's the big story on the Weekend Trust. You can find that read on page 4 of the Weekend Trust. Can I still squeeze in the Saturday Times, which is now going to be my last? Let's look at the Saturday Times. Amaechi Mark orders floats all Democratic Alliance, seek INEC registration. Details on page 3. All right, I have this one above the nameplate, which says group drags federal government to court over alleged unlawful appointment of electoral officers for Rivers. The Rivers State crisis is still on. Some persons were thinking Wike was going to come on board on June 12, but it didn't happen. And some persons are saying, well, there is a reconciliation already. Why do we still have the sole administrator in Rivers State? But remember, he was supposed to be there for 6 months. The question is, when is Fubara going to assume office? He said, well, my spirit has left the government house. That was what he said some times back. But then is he going to return? As we speak right now, the federal government is being sued for the appointment of electoral officers in Rivers. 13 killed in Fresh Plateau attack. Details on page 2. Constitution review. That's the kicker. Zonal public hearings commence July. Deputy Speaker is the one saying that. Insecurity, that's the kicker. Kogi not hub for criminals. Governor Ododo wants. Kogi is not a hub for criminals. All right, from the world of sports, Lionel Messi score free kick stunner to leave internet in frenzy. NHRC seeks protection for refugees, displaced persons. Displaced persons are already crying out for help. But then, how soon is the help going to come? All of these are the headlines that we have for you today on Global Morning. And don't forget that we do this to keep you abreast of everything happening, especially in the country. Every headline is the property, the idea, and the write-up of these media houses and not that of Global Television. Now, that's a matter of fact. I just want to say happy weekend to every one of you. We'll still keep you abreast with the happenings around, and of course, so many programs lined up for you this beautiful day. Many thanks for joining us today on Global Morning. This is going to be the size of the Global Morning for today. Global Morning return again tomorrow. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Many thanks for staying with us. Bye-bye for now.